Yo, what's going on guys? My name's Jack and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of the 5 Tips series. Today we're going to be looking at 5 tips for after you take off. Let's get into it. So my first tip number 1, is fly away from the mountain. So I'm looking around, making sure that I'm clear of any obstacles and I'm getting myself out of harm's way from everything. Then tip number 2 is getting into your harness. So now I'm away from everything, I can lift my legs and shimmy into my harness. Now, if you find this difficult or you're struggling in any way, you can opt to put both of your brakes to one hand and use your free hand to shimmy yourself into the harness or into a better position. Other than that, I really don't like to see when people put their brakes down and use their hands to shimmy into the harness, because as you can see here, I'm applying a lot of brake to do so and you have the danger of stalling the glider. The other thing I don't want people to do is release their brakes and then start fidgeting into the harness, because this can create a lot of movement in the glider and you are close to the terrain, so you have a chance to take a collapse and then impact the terrain. As a bit of a bonus tip, one thing that I would say to many pilots is that if you can buy a stirrup or a footrest that attaches to your harness to help you get into your harness when you get into the air, then please do so. It is a great safety tool that really helps getting you into your harness, and that means that you don't ever have to let go of your brakes when you're getting into the air. Tip number 3, check your airspace. You've taken the time to check your airspace, launch, then you've fiddled around getting yourself into your harness, you've flown completely into a different airspace, and paragliders are always moving, so you need to look around and make sure that all of a sudden you're not flying near or close to a load of pilots or anyone for that matter. So I'm checking my airspace and I'm all good. Tip number 4. So now that I'm ready to start doing stuff in my flight, I've checked my airspace, I can start to plan my next steps. In the early part of your career, that'll be your approach for landing, and then later on it'll be planning where to go when you're soaring the ridge, and then after that it may be planning your cross-country steps, like soaring up to the top of the ridge, catching a thermal, and then flying to the next ridge, and so on. Obviously, it's really good to plan parts of your flight on the ground, whether you're a beginner or expert. You can plan to go to the landing, you can plan where you're going to soar, you can plan where you hope to get your first thermal. But the ever-changing conditions may mean that you have to adapt in the air and change your flight plan to suit. The 5th and final tip is get comfortable and relax. So part of that for me is I like to put my hands through the handles and hold on to them because I feel like I have more feeling in the glider. I like to wiggle myself into the harness, make sure I'm comfortable, and then I like to take a few deep breaths to settle myself into the flight, calm myself down, just so I don't make any rash decisions and get myself into a situation I don't want to be in. So now that I'm relaxed, I can go and climb towards the top of the ridge and enjoy the rest of my flight. Apologies for this being a short video. I understand that the earlier videos were pretty meaty and therefore they're a little bit longer. However, I still felt that these tips could be helpful to people. So if you found these tips helpful in any way, please comment down below and let me know what you think. and it'll help me make other videos on topics that you would like to hear my advice on and hear what I have to say about them. Perfect, so now we're back on takeoff. I can at least go for some acro flying now and go get some training in for the rest of the day. So if these tips helped you in absolutely any way, please like, subscribe and leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you all next time.